and today we're going to go ahead with understanding of how the embryo formation is going to take place. Okay, so in this chapter we have started with something called as gametogenesis. Under gametogenesis we saw how the male gametes were formed. I mean how the pollen grain was formed. From pollen grain, how the male gametes were formed. Similarly, we also talked about the formation of the female gamete. My voice is low. How is it? Is my voice low, beta? No, na? Ah. Eh, let me check. Someone is saying it is low. Someone is saying it is perfect. I don't think there should be any problem today. It's perfectly fine, na? Hey, sounding like an echo. Let me check. Ah, wait. Is it fine now? Is it better now, or is it still echoing? The ones who felt it was echoing, is it fine now? Okay. Actually, there was nothing from my end. I just tried to switch off the mic and switch it on. Anyway, fine. Well, so uh, yeah, so what I was talking about is we have seen about the pollen grain formation, we have seen about the female gamete, that is how the ovule was formed and how the embryo sac was formed, and yeah, I forgot on my camera, right? Okay. And how these things were totally formed, we have seen. And we have also seen how the gametes, that is the male gamete and the female gametes were formed, right? Then uske aage jaake humne kya dekha? Pollination, right? So we saw the different contrivances for pollinations, types of pollination, contrivances for pollination, agents which are involved in pollination, right? And then finally, in the last class, we saw that how the fertilization was taking place, how the two male gametes were placed perfectly, one over the egg cell and other over the secondary nucleus. And we also saw that there was something called as diploid zygote formation and triploid primary endosperm nucleus formation, which I had abbreviated as TPEN. Correct? So in the last class, we have seen all those things. And after that, we also saw that single cell of TPEN after undergoing mitosis, how does it we have last lecture, has it been uploaded? Oh, it will get uploaded. Maybe there is something like, technical glitch from um, the uploading part. It'll take place. It'll take place. Well, and then we saw the three types of endosperms, correct? Remember, we have seen nuclear type, that was free nuclear type, and if I'm not wrong, I'm sure you would have remembered that free nuclear example was coconut, that we had done in the last class, along with maize, right? And we also saw the cellular type and halobial type. So three types of endosperm formations we have seen in the last class. And as I told you all, that endosperm formation as well as embryo formation takes place simultaneously, but it will be very difficult for us to understand both the things simultaneously. So in the last class I stopped after endosperm formation, and today I'm going to go ahead with how the embryo development takes place. Okay, so I think we can go ahead with it and we can start the embryo formation part, how the embryo formation takes place in dicots. Okay, Well, so this view. Okay, so here we have seen that how the embryo formation, endosperm formation has taken place, and let's go ahead with how the embryo formation is going to happen now. Okay, so let us see this. Yeah, embryo development in digots. The zygote forms a wall around it and converts into a oospore. So I just quickly tell you all that one of the male gametes had combined with the egg cell which was situated between the two synergids, है ना. अब ये जो दो synergids है उनके बीच में जो egg cell था, it is going to be the one which got fertilized. After fertilization, they are saying that zygote was formed. Correct? Now, by the time the zygote is formed, do you remember both the synergids have degenerated? अभी उस जाइगोट के बाजू में कोई भी सिनर्जिड है नहीं बेटा, इट्स ऑलरेडी डीजेनरेटेड. करेक्ट. सो व्हाट डू मीन बाय दैट इट्स ऑलरेडी डीजेनरेटेड का मतलब क्या है? एक कब डिजेनरेट हुआ था? डू यू रिमेंबर? कम ऑन, ट्राई, हेल्प मी आउट. फर्स्ट व्हेन डिड इट गेट डीजेनरेटेड? व्हेन डिड इट गेट डीजेनरेटेड? फर्स्ट सिनर्जिड डीजेनरेट कब हुआ? Very good. Yes, Zui. Perfect answer. Come on, others. Try it out. Try it out. What happened that the first synergid got destroyed? पहला डूम कहाँ पर हुआ था? बोलो बेटा. Very nice. Yes, Arpita. Correct answer, my dear. Perfect answer. Very good. Very good. Come on, others. I want your answers. Very good, Jaya. Yes. Correct. Bhubi is also right. Try answering. Unless and until you don't answer, how will I come to know? Okay, Vedant. Correct. Yes, Vaishnavi. Right. Come on, others. Good morning. Quickly. Give me the answers. All the answers till now, whatever I have got, are correct. Come on. Tell me, beta. बाकी के लोग, इतने लोग हो तुम लोग. Come on. Try to answer these questions. Very good, Mehak. Very good. Very good. You're right. Correct. Come on. Others tell me. I'm not going to tell you now. Now you're going to tell me. Come on, quickly. Why only these many students are putting their hands up? And then to the sinner. Very good, Siddhika. You're right. You are right. Come on. Others, please tell me. When will the first synergid gets degenerated? I want an answer to it. Come on. Those who have not answered, I want an answer to it. Quickly. Abhi, now I am not on you mute na. Abhi to bolo. Come on. So now the answers are coming up. Exactly. So please remember the first synergid का blast कब हो रहा है, doom कब हो रहा है? As immediately as the pollen tube is going to touch the synergid. Micropylar end से जैसे ही वो vegetative cell के साथ उसको touch करेगा ना vegetative nucleus के साथ, degenerated. Correct? Similarly, the second synergid कब degenerate होता है? Do you all recollect? Second synergid कब degenerate होता है? Come on. Tell me. First synergid का degeneration you all have told me correctly. Tell me the degeneration of the second synergid. When will it take place? Do you recollect last class? Very good. Yes. Correct answers. Very good. Very nice. Perfect answer. When Both the male gametes are going to be inside. The second synergid will place one of the male gametes over the egg cell and one of the male gametes over the secondary nucleus. Correct? Yes, exactly. Very correct. Yes, yes, you're right. So once the zygote and the TPEN is formed, very nice. Correct, beta. Hirisha, you're right. Once these two structures are going to be formed, after this, the second synergid is also gone. So who is going to remain in that egg apparatus now? Only one zygote is going to be present because egg has got fertilized to form the zygote. Both the synergids ka degeneration ho chuka hai. So now in that particular micropylar end lies your zygote. Correct? Now what happens to the zygote? See, now the zygote will form a wall around it. Antipodals are on the chalazolen. They are still intact. They are still intact. उनको अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ है. वो वैसे के वैसे ही है. Correct? है ना? So how it would be? Just I'll show you. See now how the structure would look like. In fact, there's going to be presence of I'll tell you the function of antipodals also. I'll tell you, beta. I'll tell you the function. See, now it's going to be something like this. Now it's going to be something like this, wherein the this is going to remain as it is. The antipodals are going to remain as it is. Correct? Right? But what is going to happen now? What is going to happen now? 3N structure will be at the center. 2N structure will be towards the micropylar end. Correct? 2N structure will be near the micropylar end. And finally, what will happen, beta? Finally, what will happen? This particular micropylar end का जो zygote है, it will start undergoing changes. That is, wall will be formed. And once that wall is formed, we are going to call it as what, beta? We are going to call it as oospore. Please pay attention to this word, oospore. Can you see? Oospore. So what exactly oospore समझ में आया? So this is going to be the oospore. Okay, this is the oospore. Okay, so the oospore now divides transversely to form a large basal cell or a suspensor cell. It's going to form a large basal cell or suspensor cell. Okay. Now understand this formation. This is most important part. So this is the oospore. What is an oospore? Oospore is nothing but it is going to be the zygote which is having a wall around it now. So this oospore is going to divide transversely. You know what is transverse section? Transverse समझते हो बेटा? That is transversely. Longitudinally. So here the oospore is going to divide how? Transversely to form one large basal cell or suspensor cell which lies towards the micropylar end. Okay, so let us understand how. है ना? So here please pay attention. Yeah, just 1 minute. Okay, so here what happens is the oospore divides transversely to form one large basal cell. Basal, it's also called a suspensor cell, which lies towards the micropylar end. Okay, I was trying to, but it is not happening. That is what I'm just checking out. I wanted to draw a figure, but it's not happening. I'm just trying to check what has happened with my styler. स्टाइलर ही बोलते हैं ना,
Stylus.
stylus, okay, whatever. Now it's functional. Yeah, what I was trying to draw is this. Okay, and that's fine, that's okay. I'll just stop the share and I will get it done. Okay, now it will work. Yeah, now if you see, now what I was talking about is, this is going to be the, why is it not happening? I don't understand. Now it is. Okay. So now this is going to be your antipodal cells which are intact over here. Can you see? These are the 3 antipodal cells. Okay. Now what is happening? Here there is 3N structure. What is this 3N? What is this 3N? Triploid, primary, endosperm, nucleus. And here now there is going to be your 2N structure, that is nothing but your zygote. Okay. Array, I have to, that day I did not wear my headphones na, then you all were like voice low aa raha hai, low aa raha hai, इसलिए I'm wearing it from beginning only, नहीं तो वापस वही चालू हो जाएगा. Okay. Anyways, so I hope now today my voice is clear. Huh. So here you can see 2N, 3N. Now what happens over here? Just pay attention. The next thing that we are talking about is something like this way. See? Your antipodals are still intact. Okay. This particular one has started dividing. Okay. These all are your 3N wale structures. Huh? ये देखिए. These all are your 3N wale structures. This is your N. Antipodals are haploid. यहाँ पर अभी क्या होता है is what they are talking about, that this cell will divide into 2 cells. Look at it. The oospore divides transversely to form a large basal cell or suspensor cell which lies towards the micropylar end. इसका मतलब ये जो नीचे वाला है ये micropylar region है, ये chalazial region है. जहाँ पर antipodals होते हैं वहाँ पर हम chalazial region कहते हैं. Correct? Now pay attention. They are saying a large basal cell or a suspensor cell which lies towards the micropylar end. That means, don't you think ये इधर ऐसे होगा? So this will become N, this will become 2N, this will become 2N. So one towards the micropylar end is going to be the larger cell. Okay. Now see, the other cell which is small apical cell or embryonal cell lies towards the interior of the embryo sac facing the chalazial end. So this is going to be the smaller one. And what is the name of the smaller one? It is going to be called as apical. What we call it as apical. And this one is going to be what is it going to be called as? Basal. Okay, so please remember, basal is always going to be towards the micropylar and apical will always be towards the facing the chalazial end. तो ये वाले के साथ हमें कुछ important चीजें देखनी है. जो मैंने डार्क बनाया है ना बेटा, ये वाले के साथ हमें कुछ important चीजें देखनी है. तो क्या है वो आगे देखेंगे of course. So see, from this two-celled stage until the formation of the organs, the embryo will be called as proembryo. So ये जो दो cells है ना, apical plus basal, is equal to what? Is equal to something called as proembryo. What we call it as? Proembryo. Okay. So what is proembryo? Proembryo is nothing but when the zygote divides into two cells, from that cell stage till the organ formation, the embryo is going to be called as proembryo. Basal cell, this is the lower cell. So this particular one got divided into two parts beta. ये देखो जो इधर मैंने दिखाए हैं, मतलब it underwent mitosis. This cell, this zygote underwent mitosis to form two cells. So one cell will give rise to two daughter cells, out of which one daughter cell has become smaller in size and other daughter cell has become larger in size. Can you see? So the larger one is going to be called as the basal cell, while the smaller one will be called as the apical cell. Now understood? Any difficulty in understanding the content of this particular? No beta, apical is this one. मैंने किधर arrow किया है देखो, look at my arrow, look at my arrow, where the arrow is, look at this. This is the apical. ये जो 3n वाले हैं ना, ये जो इधर 3n वाले दिखते हैं, those are going to be your endosperm के सेल, सेल्यूलर, न्यूक्लियर और हेलोबायल, उसकी कहानी अलग चल रही है. ओके हाँ, organs will include radicle, plumule, axis, cotyledons. Okay, all those will be the organs. Basal is diploid and apical. No बच्चा, how can basal, apical and would be haploid? ये 2n structure है कि नहीं? इसको थोड़ा सा zoom करो. ये क्या है? ये 2n है. ये जब divide करेगा तो दोनों सेल कैसे बनेंगे? 2n and 2n ही बनेंगे. एक बड़ा बन रहा है, एक छोटा बन रहा है. हाँ, माइटोसिस हो रहा है इसमें, है ना? So both of these will give rise to 2n and 2n only. See, that is the reason मैंने इधर ploidy लिखा भी है, 2n and 2n. So apical cell is also 2n and basal cell is also 2n. Remember, it's a product of what? It's a product of zygote and zygote is 2n. So whatever cell is going to undergo mitosis, जितने chromosomes उसमें हैं, उतने के उतने daughter cells में भी आ जाएंगे. Is it okay now? Have all of you all understood this content very nicely? Got it? Very good. Yes. So that's about the first initial stage of embryo development in dicots. Come on. I'll tell you why is it called a suspensor also. I'll tell you. Don't worry. Batati hu. It is going to help in suspension of the actual embryo into the endosperm. I'll tell you. But यहाँ तक कोई doubt है? So the zygote forms a wall around it and it's converted into an oospore. Oospore divides transversely to form one large basal cell, or it's also called a suspensor cell, and the smaller one will be called as the apical cell. Okay, so the basal cell is going to be towards the micropylar end and the apical cell will be towards the chalazal end. Okay, got it? What is the wall made of? Cellulose. It's cellulosic cell wall. Fine. Any doubts still here? You got logged out? Now I told you that I'll tell you what is the main reason why is it called a suspensor cell later on. That is what I just said. Nothing else. Any difficulty in understanding this particular slide? Come on, fast. Otherwise I'll move to the next one. I'll move. What will happen to the basal cell which is lying at the micropylar end? Okay, so we are talking about which cell now? We are talking about the basal cell जो large है, इसके ऊपर एक छोटा है जो apical है. So we are talking about this cell which is the basal cell. This is the apical cell. इसका क्या होने वाला है ना, वो अभी हमें देखना है. हाँ, what's your doubt बेटा? Endosperm cells which have divided form any of the 3 types of endosperm. Yes, my dear, it depends upon the species of the plant. Accordingly, they will form that type of endosperm. Correct. You're right. Okay. So this is again, I'm labeling this for your understanding. This is micropylar. This is chalazal. Now what we're going to talk about is this cell. ये cell का, ये basal cell का आगे क्या होता है वो हम देखेंगे. Okay. The basal cell divides transversely to form a row of cells called as suspensor. They are 6 to 10 linear cells. Linear means in one row, in one line, एक के ऊपर एक. Okay, तो अभी तुम्हें ऐसे नहीं लग रहा है, it will happen something like this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. कुछ ऐसे स्ट्रक्चर नहीं बनेगा इसका. So it will get divided. See, it's dividing to form something like this way. अब मैं क्या कर रही हूँ ना, for your better understanding, मैं apical cell को है ना दूसरे कलर से डिनोट कर रही हूँ. हाँ, so ये मेरा हो गया अभी apical cell. Okay, और ये जो है तो इधर भी मैं ग्रीन कलर कर देती हूँ, so you know you won't get confused. तो ग्रीन कलर का सेल जो है दैट इज द अपाइकल सेल, और जो बेसल सेल था ना, इट गॉट डिवाइडेड इनटू 6 to 10 cells as I have shown over here. Okay, got it? what has happened? The uppermost cell of the suspensor is vesicular cell and the lowest cell is the hypophysis cell. Now please understand this, huh? Try to understand. I'll of course make the things better for you to understand. So where is my, yeah. So this one is going to be called as vesicular cell. Okay, so this is called as what? ये जो सबसे ऊपर का है ना, अपर मोस्ट सेल, अपर मोस्ट, ये वर्ड ध्यान दे दो, अपर मोस्ट सेल इज द वेसिकुलर सेल. और ये जो लोअर मोस्ट सेल है, कैन यू सी दिस व्हिच आई एम डार्कनिंग नाउ, इज गोइंग टू बी कॉल्ड एज हाइपोफाइसिस. नाउ द क्वेश्चन दैट विल कम इन योर माइंड इज कि मिस ये कैसे पॉसिबल है ना? हाउ कैन वेसिकुलर सेल बी द अपर मोस्ट सेल? ये तो लोअर मोस्ट दिखाई दे रहा है. इट इज सीन एट द लोअर मोस्ट एंड एंड रादर हाइपोफाइसिस ऊपर दिखाई दे रहा है ना? तो ये माइंड में आया तुम्हारे? All of you all got confused with this sentence. This is the sentence of your NCERT as well as your government textbook, बेटा. So सबके दिमाग में प्रैक्टिकली ये हिट होना चाहिए कि अरे शायद ये कुछ मिस ने रॉन्ग लिखा है या फिर कुछ तो गड़बड़ है ना? आज शायद मैम ने अच्छा खाना नहीं खाया हो या फिर मैम नींद में हो. हाँ, कुछ तो गड़बड़ है दया, नहीं लग रहा है? Yeah. Exactly. I know. Majority of the times this thing happens कि whenever this point comes out ना, it's always felt there is something wrong with the teacher. कुछ तो गड़बड़ कर रहा है वो. नहीं बेटा, it's nothing wrong. I'll explain that how this is correct. Fine. To make this point valid and clear, do you remember something called as ये याद है वर्ड? ऑर्थोट्रोपस ओव्यूल एंड एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल. ये वर्ड सुने लग रहे हैं कुछ? तो अगर हम ऑर्थोट्रोपस ओव्यूल की अभी फिलहाल वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट द एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल. एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल में व्हाट वाज द कंडीशन माय डियर? व्हाट वाज द कंडीशन इन एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल? Chalaza was here, micropyle was here, correct? So this diagram will fit over here. So ये जो diagram है, ये किसका diagram है? This is the diagram of anatropous ovule. Yes, but what will happen in orthotropous? Orthotropous में कैसा था? How was it? Micropyle, chalaza, correct? So here it will be your vesicle, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 cells. Suppose your what 8 cell वाला कौन सा है अपना? लीनियर सस्पेंसर. और यहाँ पर आपको नहीं लग रहा है, ये वाला विल बी दी अपाइकल, राइट ना? So now what is going to happen? See, now your basal and apical का definition ही change हो गया. ये सीधा हो गया. Till this particular sentence ना, till this particular sentence we were talking about what? Till this sentence we were talking about the, till this नहीं रे, हाँ, from this sentence we are now talking about the orthotropous condition. The uppermost cell of the suspensor is vesicular. तो ये uppermost cell हो गया vesicular, correct, in orthotropous, and the lowest cell will be hypophysis. So this cell is going to be your hypophysis. So this is going to be the vesicular and this will be the hypophysis. So now what they are trying to tell us is so different. See, till the last point what they were saying कि माइक्रोपाइलर एंड, माइक्रोप्लेस लेना बेटा, वो माइक्रोपाइलर एंड पे हमें फोकस करना है. अब उस हिसाब से अगर आप देखोगे तो ये अपाइकल नहीं लगेगा ना. दिस लुक्स लाइक अ बेजल. नहीं लग रहा है तुम्हें? लग रहा है ना? हाँ, so यहाँ पर you will lose maximum marks बेटा. Please don't lose a single mark. I'm again explaining this phenomena to you because this is the thing. You remember in the last class I told you all that please बेटा next के 2 lectures बहुत important है. If you don't attend mentally, physically तो absent होना, it's not going to be worth it. But even if mentally now you will not follow anything. That was the reason. So, and these things are not explained in your textbook. अरे वो textbook language पढ़ने के बाद तो ऐसे होता है ना, मतलब परेशानी हो जाती है. You feel कि oh my God, what am I learning and what am I doing? कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है, कुछ पल्ले नहीं पड़ रहा है. So please pay attention. I'm again explaining this entire thing one more time. Okay, I'm maintaining these particular as it is. See, again I'm explaining. The zygote forms a wall. The zygote forms a wall. Okay, and it's now going to be called as what? The oospore. Okay. This is going to be the oospore over here. इसने enlarge किया है ये oospore को. Correct. Now this is going to divide transversely. तो 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड हो गया देखो, to form one large cell and one small cell. Okay. Now they are saying a large basal cell. Okay. So यहाँ पर this is the basal cell जो हमें समझ में आती है कि वो बेस के तरफ है, माइक्रोपाइल के तरफ. माइक्रोपाइल बेसल एंड पे है कि नहीं? This micropyle is towards the lower end. So we believe, yeah, because it is at the lower side, we call this as the basal end. We agree to it, correct? Then they say then they say the other cell, which is the small apical cell or the embryonal cell, lies towards the interior of the embryo sac, facing the chalazal end. So you know this is the interior of the embryo sac facing the chalazal end. So this language is clear of your NCERT. No difficulty in understanding this. Okay. Now, okay. So ये तो समझ में आ गया. The next thing that they are saying is what? See, the basal cell which is towards the micropylar end. So this is the basal cell which is towards the micropylar end. Okay, divides to form 6 to 10 rows in line. Can you see this? 6 to 10 rows in line. Cells in one row. They are saying that the uppermost is vesicular. अब ये uppermost word आते ही हमारे दिमाग में confusion start. अरे अब तो we were calling it as basal. Now how can it be uppermost? So from this point where I have made a tick, can you see मैंने यहाँ पर एक tick किया है. So from this point, instead of the anatropous ovule, now they are explaining the orthotropous ovule. Easier to make the thing simple, I have drawn this orthotropous ovule over here. Okay, so now this is the basal cell which is towards the micropylar end, which has undergone mitosis to form 6 to 10 linear cells in one row, and now this is the uppermost end which is going to be called as the vesicular cell, and this is the lowermost. Red वाला ही बोल रही हूँ मैं green वाले को touch नहीं करा रही हूँ बेटा. मैंने apical cell का अभी तक कुछ बात नहीं किया है. I'm just talking about the basal cell का fate of the basal cell, right? So this is going to be the last or the bottom of the basal cell ka row, which will be called as hypophysis. Do not forget this word hypophysis. It is one of the very important words. Why? Because see, hypophysis will form radicle and root cap. So radicle will give rise to the root, and it will have a root cap. So the radicle, the root cap, all are originating from where? From the hypophysis. Okay, no beta. This radicle जो है ना, that is going to be the radicle of your chemistry, and this is the radicle of botany. Okay, so radical, radical. Okay, radical changes is going to be the English language. Fine. Yeah, so now there is no confusion with basal cell, apical cell. Basal cell is equal to micropylar end. Apical cell is equal to chalazal end. Basal cell will undergo mitosis to form 6 to 10 linear cells called as the suspensor. The uppermost cell of the suspensor, the one which is lying most towards the micropylar end, will be called as vesicular cell, and the one which will be touching the apical cell, that cell will be called as the hypophysis. Okay, no, it's wrong. Okay, got it? Any difficulty in understanding this concept? Come on, come on, come on. Use all your brains, full focus, and do let me know if there is any confusion in your mind. Come on, quickly. डायग्राम चाहिए तो ड्रॉ कर लो तुम्हारे रफ नोटबुक में just for reference. If anyone is having any difficulty, please go ahead. Come on, tell me. That's fine. That doesn't alter the uh, heart of this concept. Hypophysis cell would be towards the chalazelin. Hypophysis will be towards the chalazelin. Yeah, and vesicular towards the micropylori. Very correct. Correct. Huh. Anatropous got converted into autotropous, or they have just no. It won't get converted. It is just that they're saying. Okay. Okay, it is just for the explanation. Fine. आपने कभी फ्रूट को हैंगिंग देखा है? हैव यू ऑल सीन द फ्रूट हैंगिंग ऑन द trees? Correct. Inside that there would be a seed. Inside the seed there's going to be this embryo formation. So formation has been explained with respect to autotropous. Fine. That's it. Can I move ahead? Since there are no doubts coming, I assume that you all have understood what exactly is happening with the basal cell. Huh? Now let us. No, fruits hanging is in different position. That you will come to know when we'll study the flowers in the chapter called as morphology. Okay. Okay. So let us understand what is going to happen with the fate of the apical cell. Apical cell is the green one which I have drawn. The apical cell undergoes one transverse and two vertical divisions at right angles to each other to form a octant stage. Now, here comes your complete imaginary part. तो इसके लिए मैं एकदम easy method बताती हूँ ये divisions को समझने के लिए. Let's take an apple. Okay, एक apple ले लेते हैं. Fine. Cut that apple into one transverse. Means how would you cut it? How would you cut it? One transverse means, correct? Yeah, horizontal method, right? After that, two vertical at right angles to each other means you hold the two pieces together again, put your knife like this way and cut it into one vertical. So how many pieces you would get after this cut? कितने पीस मिलेंगे आपको? 4. Exactly. So पहले आपने ट्रांसवर्स कट किया तो आपको 2 pieces मिल गए थे. You have brought them together again and you have cut it vertically or longitudinally. So you will get now 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Agreed? Okay. Now first you had placed your knife like this way in this angle. I hope you all can see me. You all can see me. Only then you will understand what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. So first you have cut it in this particular fashion, right? You have kept your knife in this position. You got 4 pieces. Now you will change the position of your knife to this position and cut it in this fashion. So it will be at right angle to the first cut. You will have one more cut. So now how many pieces you would get? 4 को आपने और एक बार उसमें से नाइफ चलाया तो आपको कितने पीसेस मिलेंगे? पूरा एंटायरली नीचे तक. 6. नो. सेकेंड कट नहीं समझा? पहला कट ऐसे, हाँ, दूसरा कट ऐसे. That is the reason I told you whether you can see my hand. First goes like this way. Okay, second goes like this way. So how many cuts? You are going to give Yes, Irisha, you're right. Some of you have given the answer as 6 and some of you are giving the answer as 8. Yes, so the answer which is 8 is correct. 8 is correct. Okay. Now you understood now how 8? कि नहीं समझा? हाँ. एक minute. I've got an apple. I've got a knife. I'll get it and I'll explain it to you. And after the lecture, I'll eat that apple. Okay? Fine. Just give me a minute. I'll get it and I'll show you also because I don't want any confusions over here. Just wait for a second. Okay, so now you all can see the apple in my hand. Okay. Now they are saying the first cut should be a transverse cut. Transverse का मतलब कैसे होगा? How it would be going like this way. So my knife goes like this way. Correct? You can see my knife going like this way. Let me cut it for you all. You all means I am only going to eat it. It's just to show. Okay. So here I have cut it into 2 pieces. Okay. So when I cut it into 2 pieces, what would happen? मुझे कैसा मिलेगा? ये देखो, दिखा रही हूँ मैं. See, I got it into 2 pieces. Got cut into 2 pieces. You can very well see. Yeah. So this is my first transverse cut. This is my first transverse cut. Now I have to place it together again. And I have to cut it how? How am I going to cut it now? कैसे होगा बेटा? बिल्कुल अगर मुझे ऐसे चाहिए तो how will I cut it? See, I'm holding it together again and look at my knife. My knife goes like this way. Can you see how my knife is going? It's pointing you all. Be careful. It's pointing you all ना. आपके तरफ है ना ये देखो. So I'll cut it into. Yeah. So I'll keep both of them together and I will now cut it into. सीधा ऐसे के ऐसे में कट कर रही हूँ इसको, है ना? तो ये देखो बेटा मेरा सीधा दोनों एक साथ कट हो चुका है. So now I have again brought these. You can see this, right? ये भी कट हो चुका है और ये भी कट हो चुका है. Correct? You can see all 4 pieces. Correct? Again I'm putting it together. Fine. Again I'm putting it together. And now how would be my knife? Now I'm not going to point the knife towards you all. Now it will be at right angles to the earlier angle. Can you all see? At right angle to the earlier angle. So पहले ऐसी पकड़ी थी मैंने knife. Now I am placing it in this particular way. So I'm going to cut this apple into this particular way. So now can you all tell me how many pieces will I get? Can you all now tell me how many? बोलो बोलो बोलो. 6 मिलेगा कि 8 मिलेगा? How many pieces will I get? Now you all understood that what is it exactly and how does it actually look like? ये देखो बेटा. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I've got 8 pieces in total in my hand. पूरा एप्पल कट करके हो गया. 4 up 4 down. Exactly. Very good. So now you all have understood what I'm trying to tell you. मेरे हाथ चिकट हो गए. Anyways, so 4 up and 4 down. Right? Got it? So this 8 cell stage को हम क्या कहते हैं? We call it as octant state. But I hope you all have understood that how we got the cuts, huh? This is very important, that how we got the cuts is very important. So one transverse, first longitudinal, second longitudinal, first vertical, second vertical at right angles to each other. Got it? अभी तो कोई डिफिकल्टी है नहीं बेटा समझने में. हाँ, yeah. So good, that's good. Okay. So this is going to be the octant stage. Now they further divide. तो अभी 8 stage embryo कैसे बना समझा? हाँ, apical cell में से 8 cells कैसे बने, octant stage कैसे बना समझा ना? Now what will happen next? See, they further divide to form multicellular spherical mass of cells, now termed as globular embryo. You want those apples, na? See, if it was a physical lecture, what I do, you know, I generally carry the apples for this particular lecture. एक apple मैं cut करती हूँ, बाकी की तुम लोग को cut करने के लिए देती हूँ. Okay? तो ये generally मेरा तरीका है, but अभी क्या करूँ? मतलब I had got this apple for me only now today. Okay, so yeah, this is like you know, I hope I am just keeping my fingers crossed that when we will go ahead with the chapter of morphology of flowering plants, if it happens as a physical lecture, it will be fun. बहुत मजा आएगा. At least revisions तो हमारे जब होंगे ना, that time it should be physical lectures. I'll ask you a question. आपने अगर सही जवाब दे दिया ना, तो वो सब्जी आपकी, वो फ्रूट आपका, वो फ्लावर आपका हो जाता है. Nice, na? God only knows, Ray. We also don't know when. But of course, it will be soon. Let's be positive about it. Anyways, so this is going to be the globular mass. So from this 8 cell structure, it will further divide, and it will, you know, form a globular or a spherical mass of cells, which will be called as your globular lecture. Next lecture, I'll cut chocolate. No, I don't cut chocolate. I only eat chocolates. I don't cut, because if I cut, then I have to give it, I have to share it with somebody, which I never do. Chocolate देखा तो सीधा मुंह में. Okay, fine. You got this, right? Well, then see, no sharing business in chocolates with in my case. हाँ, बाकी मैं सब share करती हूँ सबके साथ. No chocolates. Okay. So gradually this globular embryo would become heart shape, and then it will get converted into horseshoe shape. You know what is horseshoe shape ना? आगे diagram है. I'm sorry. आगे diagram दिया है बेटा. Mangoes आपका पूरा का पूरा. हाँ. This horseshoe shape is also called as torpedo shape. Huh? Remember the name torpedo. Finally, it gets differentiated to form an embryonal axis with plumule, radicle, and 2 cotyledons. Now, what is this embryonal axis, plumule, radicle? ये बताती हूँ मैं. But ये last point छोड़ के ऊपर के सारे points समझ में आ गए बेटा? Fate of a apical cell का. Any difficulty, any doubts? So first we saw the fate of the basal cell. So it forms 6 to 10 linear cells called as the suspensor cells. Okay. Then we saw the fate of the apical cell. Apical cell first underwent first transverse, one vertical, another vertical at right angles to the first to form an octant state. Octant to globular, globular to heart, हार्ट टू हॉर्स शू, एंड हॉर्स शू से आगे बनेगा 2 कॉटिलेडॉन्स. टॉर्पेडो इज हॉर्स शू शेप का दूसरा नाम है टॉर्पेडो. ओके ओके. Then yeah, this is the diagram that I want to actually tell you all. So see, this is going to be the zygote, correct? This is going to be dividing into two: basal cell which is large, terminal cells which is small. Basal cell is undergoing cell division to form suspensor. Simultaneously, the apical cell is also undergoing cell divisions to form your octant stage. So here the embryo is octant stage. Here you can see the 4 cells of the apical cells आगे की तरफ. Similarly, there are 4 cells पीछे की तरफ. So these are going to be your 8 cell. Look at this. This is the 6 to 10 cell suspensor. This is the vesicular cell, correct? And this is the hypophyseal cell. Agreed? Then this particular became globular. You can see how it has become circular shape हो गया. The globular then underwent changes to form this type of heart-shaped structure. So it is called as heart stage. And here they have clearly mentioned hypophysis, which I had told you earlier only. This is the hypophysis. Hypophysis. The hypophysis. Correct? Yeah. The vesicular cell is yellowish green in color. It is the largest one. Yeah. This is the vesicular cell. Correct. Okay. Now, from the heart shape, it has become, see, torpedo shape. That is going to be your horseshoe. Okay. So here you can see this horseshoe shape, which is actually called as the torpedo stage. Well, but if you can see over here, these are remaining as it is now. The suspensor cells are still not further growing. Okay, but this is growing. See, and how it has become. Look at it. Horseshoe. Okay, now here they are saying this is the shoot meristem. I hope you all can see this. See, this is the shoot meristem. These are the 2 cotyledons. And here you can see this is the root meristem. So root meristem is going to be your hypophysis, right? And from the root meristem to the shoot meristem, can you see a row of cells over here? ये दिख रहा है आपको? जिधर से अभी मेरा highlighter जा रहा है वो वाला दिख रहा है. I'm connecting the orange line with the orange line. Can you see? हाँ. So this particular line is called as embryonal axis. What we call it as? Embryonal axis. Okay. So this is how the torpedo stage or the horseshoe stage looks like. Any difficulty with understanding the diagram? Anyone having any problem with the diagram, please tell me. Sare stages. There was a question in NEET that arrange the development of the apical cell in a dicot. Okay, so first came the proembryo, then they are saying it to be the octant, then globular, heart shape, torpedo stage, and then final 2 cotyledons. Embryonal axis is this axis from the hypophyseal cell up to this particular cotyledon ka base. This entire thing will be called as your entirely will be called as your embryonal axis. Okay, got it? Ye this one where my cursor is moving right now, my laser pointer is moving right now. Okay, this is the one. Fine. Okay, any doubts still, beta? Anyone who has got any doubts still? No? Simple? Question: arrange the development of the dicot embryo beginning from the initial stages. So first will be the proembryo, followed by globular, heart shape, horseshoe shape or torpedo stage, and 2 cotyledons. That is the type of question that are asked. Now this is a very beautiful diagram, my dears. Please, you will understand this very clearly over here. So this is the embryo sac. This is the embryo sac. Okay. Till now, here you can see this light green structure that you can see over here. Light green structure is nothing but endosperm. Okay, and this dark green structure is nothing but your zygote. Okay, now as here you can see the cellular type of endosperm is going to be formed. Can you see? Cellular type of endosperm is being formed. Simultaneously, you can see over here the suspensor cell. This is the vesicular cell. This is the apical cell. Can you see the green one is the apical cell? Correct. Now here you can see the endosperm is further spreading and dividing to form a multicellular tissue. Hmm? Here you can see the two-celled apical cell has formed the globular stage. Can you see? This is the globular stage. Huh? Now look at this particular diagram. The endosperm has spread almost entirely. पूरा का पूरा embryo sac endosperm से भर गया है. Correct? And look over here. The globular has become heart shape. Right? Look at this one. जैसे ही ये endosperm complete हुआ, this developing embryo has started consuming the endosperm. Can you see endosperm कितना कम हो गया? Can you see कितना कम हुआ है endosperm? Just see. Here it was fully laden with the food. Now here it's almost empty. Who is eating it? This developing embryo is eating it. Correct? So this has become your torpedo stage. ये देखो. Correct? और इधर देखो बेटा, इधर तो पूरा का पूरा ही कंज्यूम कर लिया almost. And you can see here the two cotyledons are being formed. Can you see the two cotyledons का formation? Dicot है ना ये. So this is the formation of the two cotyledons. Eventually even this will be eaten away. ये जो है ना light green, even that will be eaten away generally. So your endosperm formation and embryo formation has been explained simultaneously. But you can only understand this diagram if you have understood each of them perfectly. No beta, a monocot ka aage aayega. I'll tell you what happens in monocot. I'll tell you. But this is specifically for the dicot. So any difficulty in understanding these diagrams? Any problem in understanding the diagram? Clear? Very beautiful diagram, na? Radical will be here. You can see this 9 दिखाई दे रहा है तुम्हें यहाँ पर. ये axis है बेटा. This is the axis. और ये देखो. Can you see over here? 8 लिखा है. Can you see here? Something is coming out. This point at the 8. That is the radical. And from the 10th point there will be plumule formation. You know what is plumule now? Shoot. The shoot will rise from here. The root will rise from here. Is it okay? What happens to the suspensor? Yeah, now I will tell you the functions of all of them, of course. I'll tell you the function. Okay. Now in this diagram, first tell me one thing. Can you all anywhere see the antipodal cell? This is the embryo sac. So technically antipodal cells should have been there. But can you see antipodal cells anywhere in this diagram? No. है ना? इसका मतलब antipodal किधर गए? So I'll tell you the fate of antipodals also. See, it's very simple. What happens? When this particular endosperm will start to grow, you can see the endosperm is starting to develop. That time they will crush the antipodal cells. They will squeeze the antipodal cells. They will crush the antipodal cells. And once upon a time, the place which was occupied by the antipodal cells will now be occupied by the endosperm. Then why the antipodal cells were required? पहले क्यों उनका डूम नहीं हो गया? जब सिनर्जिड दोनों चले गए उसी टाइम पे एंटीपोडाल्स क्यों नहीं गए बेटा? The reason is antipodal cells are providing nourishment for the development of the endosperm. See, understand this. That endosperm will provide nourishment to the developing embryo. But for the endosperm to divide, it requires energy, na? It requires a nutrition. Who will provide them? The antipodal cells will provide them. From where will the antipodal cells get the nourishment? The antipodal cells will get the nourishment from the nucellar cells which are outside. From where will the nucellus gets the nourishment? So the nucellar cells will get their nourishment via the funicle from the placenta. Going back. है ना? Now this placenta will get the nourishment from whom? It will get the nourishment from the thalamus. Thalamus will get the nourishment from whom? Thalamus will get the nourishment from the stalk of the flower, which is the pedicel. From where will the pedicel get the nourishment? The pedicel will get the nourishment from the stem. From where will the stem get the nourishment? Stem will get the nourishment via the food produced by the leaves and the minerals which are transported via the xylem. Okay, so if you go back, and back, you come to the roots. So the roots will provide minerals while the leaves will provide the food to the stem. Via the stem, the food and the minerals will pass through the stalk of the flower to the thalamus. From the thalamus, the nourishment will reach the ovary. From the ovary into the placenta, from the placenta via the funicle into the nucellus, from the nucellus into the antipodal, from the antipodal to the endosperm. Oh my god, long journey, isn't it? But if you have understood the earlier lectures perfectly, this will become like a very super cool question. Okay, right? Got this? So this is a very important flow chart that you have to, understand. Can you all see the black screen over here? तुम्हें black screen दिखाई दे रही है? हाँ. एक minute. Don't worry. So I'm just writing down. Yeah. Now please pay attention to this. This is a very crucial and very important part which you all should know. That is, roots will provide minerals. Okay. Plus leaves will provide. You know, leaves are the kitchen ना. लीव्स को हम क्या कहते हैं बेटा? किचन कहते हैं ना, फूड बनाते हैं वो. सो रूट्स प्लस लीव्स विल गिव अस you know what? It will give us nutrition. That is it will provide us with nutrients. Correct? These nutrients will reach the stem. From the stem, they will reach the I hope you all know thalamus is the flower ka part, but it will reach via whom? It will reach via pedicel. Okay, pedicel is nothing but it is the stalk of flower. Correct? From the thalamus, where it is going to go now? From the thalamus, it will reach the ovary. From the ovary, it will reach the placenta. From the placenta, it's going to reach the nucellus. From the nucellus, it's going to reach the antipodal. So all three antipodal cells को nourishment provide करेगा. And from the antipodals, finally, it is going to reach where? It's not detecting here, so I'll put it over here. From the antipodals, फ्लो चार्ट समझ में आ गया सब पूरा का पूरा? Any difficulty in this now? Anyone who has not understood this part? So roots plus leaves gives us nourishment, which will reach the stem. Stem via the pedicel will reach the thalamus. Thalamus will reach will provide it to the ovary. Ovary में से placenta, placenta से nucellus, nucellus से antipodal, antipodal से endosperm. Is it okay now? Clear? Please write down this. It will be very helpful for you in future also. Quickly write it down. Anyone who is having any difficulty, kindly clear it out quickly. Done? Good. Yeah, beta. Okay, fine. Okay. So, I hope you all have understood what I'm trying to tell you all. Correct? चलिए अभी आगे जाते हैं with what happens in the monocots. It's not as complicated as it seems to be in monocots. It's very simple. Just see. Embryo development in monocots. Embryos of monocotyledons possesses only one cotyledon. Dicots will have two cotyledons. Na? Monocots have one. You know what are cotyledons? Na? Chana, moong, हरभरा, छोले, rajma, choli, all these are your dicots having two cotyledons. Singdana, groundnut. You can see now they are getting divided equally into two halves. That is going to be called as your dicots. Yeah, divided into two equal halves. That is dicots. Monocots, you cannot divide the seed perfectly into two parts. So rice, wheat, jowar, bajra, maize, sugarcane, all of these are going to be your monocots. They have got only one large cotyledon. Okay, they do not have two cotyledons. So it's called as monocots. So in the grass family, the cotyledon is called as scutellum. That is situated towards one side of the embryonal axis. Now this is the language of your NCERT. That in the grass family, जो grasses है, उनमें the cotyledon is going to be called as scutellum. So here you can see in this particular diagram. Can you see this? Scutellum. Okay. So this is one single cotyledon which is called as the scutellum in case of your grass families. Okay. At its lower end, the embryonal axis has the radicle and the root cap enclosed in an undifferentiated sheath called as coleorhiza. So please pay attention to this particular thing. Can you see this? Coleorhiza. उसके अंदर है root cap, उसके अंदर है ये radicle. Okay, so this is the embryonal axis. So as I had shown in the dicot also, there was an embryonal axis. So this is also an embryonal axis. जिधर मेरा अभी cursor move कर रहा है ना, इसको हम कहते हैं embryonal axis. So at the rear end, there is going to be the coleorhiza covering the root cap and root cap covering the radicle. Okay, the portion of the embryonal axis above the level of the attachment of scutellum. So ये scutellum यहाँ से है, उसके ऊपर ये वाला part is going to be called as your epicotyle. Okay, epicotyle is a shoot apex and a few leaf primordia enclosed in a hollow follicular structure called as the coleoptile. So here you can see the coleoptile. ये देखो, ये जो है ना, ये वाला part, this is the coleoptile, which is going to cover the plumule. This thing is going to be called as the plumule. And here you can see the shoot apex. Okay, shoot apex will give rise to the leaves. Shoot apex will give rise to the leaves. So please understand this. The scutellum is one single cotyledon. Coleoptile is going to cover the plumule. Plumule के नीचे होता है shoot apex, that is going to give rise to the leaves. Then you have got this coleorhiza, root cap and radical to give rise to the root. So at the rear end there is root, at the upper end there is shoot. Rear end, lower end, जहाँ पर root है उधर coleorhiza present है बेटा, and the upper side is going to be your coleoptile. Okay, so remember the words coleorhiza, coleoptile. What are they? You should know them. So epicotyle, this is the epicotyle here, this zone. Okay, has a shoot apex. You can see this shoot apex and a few leaf primordia. Leaf primordia means the leaves which are eventually going to grow. They are not yet, the leaves are not yet matured, initiating. So primordia means initial stage. Are enclosed in a hollow foliar structure called as the coleoptile. Okay, so this is how the monocot is going to be actually looking like. So any difficulty with this? You understood this? अब coleorhiza and coleoptile ये कैसे याद रखना है? coleorhiza के स्पेलिंग में R है, रूट कैप के स्पेलिंग में R है, रेडिकल के स्पेलिंग में R है. So R and R, all three together is going to be your root system. Coleorhiza, root cap and radical, all are R group. So all will be telling your that will signify your root system. Okay, coleoptile is dark green granular structure. Yes beta, it's not like entire this part here this one, ये वाला, ये dotted line है ना granular के बाजू में, this part. Can you see this one where my cursor is moving right now? This one, that is going to be the coleoptile. Okay, fine. Epicotyle is something I'll show you. Wait, I'll show you. What are they saying? See, where is the epicotyle? What are they saying? The portion of the embryonal axis above the level of the attachment of scutellum is epicotyle. So from here you can see the scutellum is attached. So this entire portion over here is going to be the epicotyle region. This one. Okay, where my cursor is moving right now is the epicotyle region. Okay, now got it? So that is the epicotyle. So this is the typical diagram given in your NCERT textbook for monocots. So please remember this. Now here you can see there is written as epiblast. ये दिखाई दे रहा है तुम्हें epiblast, और यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा ऐसा outgrowth दिखाई दे रहा है. Now what exactly is this epiblast? Epiblast is the remnant of the second cotyledon. So scutellum is one cotyledon and epiblast is another cotyledon. Actually these two cotyledons should make up dicot, na? But since in monocots only one cotyledon develops, other remains reduced, the reduced cotyledon is called as epiblast, a very favorite question of the examiners. Okay, so that's all about your monocot seed, monocot development and dicot development. Is it okay? Fine. So we understood that how embryo is formed, how endosperm is formed. So finally, we'll come to the development of the seed. Okay. The fertilized ovule forms the seed. The ovule increases greatly in size. The integuments dry up. The outer integument becomes hard or leathery and forms the outer seed coat, or it's called as testa, while the inner one, if persists, forms the tegmen. Okay, what do you want to see, beta? Previous slide. Yeah. So whenever, remember beta, whenever it's going to be called as an a seed, that time always remember the ovule has got converted into the seed. So the ovule had two integuments. We have seen ategmic, unitegmic, bitegmic. याद है? Caruncle, aril is what we have seen. है ना? So now here what is it? Generally majority of the seeds are going to be having two seed coats. The outer would be called as the testa, the inner would be called as the tegmen. So please remember these words, testa and tegmen. Testa कैसा होता है? It's hard और leathery. And tegmen कैसा होता है? Inner है, थोड़ा पतला होता है. Okay. The nucellus is generally used up during the development of the embryo. So just imagine in the earlier diagram we saw that antipodals को पूरा का पूरा खा लिया था, है ना? Antipodals को खा लिया था ना पूरा का पूरा, along with what? The endosperm. Endosperm भी पूरा कंज्यूम कर लिया था. But you know what, my dear, when the endosperm is growing ना, endosperm सबसे पहले किसके साथ फाइटिंग करता है? एंडोस्पर्म सबसे पहले किसके साथ फाइटिंग करता है? It's going to fight with the antipodals. After the antipodals का fighting is over, then it has to fight with the nucellar cells to occupy that space also. So now the nucellar cells are also crushed. और उस nucellus के space में भी who is going to grow? Endosperm is going to grow. Okay, so majority of the times ना the entire nucellars को खत्म कर देता है एंडोस्पर्म, मार के, क्रश करके, हाँ, और पूरा का पूरा खुद ऑक्यूपाई कर लेता है. So that is what they are saying, that the nucellus is generally used up during the development of the embryo, but in some cases it remains outside the endosperm in the form of a thin layer which is going to be called as perisperm. So what is perisperm? You know, intact endosperm is going to be called as the perisperm. Intact endosperm is going to be called as the perisperm. Okay, so I'll just try to put down this thing for you. So I have to take the pen. See, so here okay, this is what is we were trying to understand. मैं purposely ये ना थोड़ा लंबा नहीं बनाऊंगी. I'll make this thing a bit bigger so that you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Correct? Here there is going to be the placenta. Here there is going to be the ovule. Correct? Now here in the ovule, everywhere, here there is going to be what? This is going to be the micropylar end. This is going to be the micropylar end. Right? So here there is going to be, say for example बता रही हूँ मैं, ये पूरा nucellus से भरा हुआ था initially. It was completely with the nucellus. Then what happened over here, you remember? Embryo sac development near the micropylar end. Okay, and rather ये थोड़ा सा बड़ा बनाती हूँ so that you know. Okay, I'll make this a bit larger so that you will come to know. So this I'm making it a bit larger. So 1, 2, 3. You remember? 4 ये बने थे. 4 megaspores were formed. Correct? And then they said one of the megaspores survived. You remember this? So this is the only one which survived. And then this had what? This had the antipodal cell. This had the antipodal cell. Correct? Then this had the egg. This had the synergid. This had the secondary nucleus. Correct? बराबर है. तो अब इसको मैं और थोड़ा सा बड़ा कर रही हूँ ताकि है ना मुझे जो एक्सप्लेन करना है वो तुम लोग को बराबर समझ में आ जाए. बट आई होप यू ऑल आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि मैं ये क्यों, मतलब हाउ आई एम ड्रॉइंग ना, ये तुम्हें समझना है. So see, I'm drawing it really very large. Actually, it isn't this large, but just to make the thing simple, I'm doing it, okay? So one of the cells near the micropylar end is going to become, right? So 1, 2, yeah. So this got degenerated, this got degenerated, this got degenerated, right? Now this developed as the embryo sac. This one developed as the embryo sac. Correct? So this is going to be the chalazal end. This is going to be the micropylar end. So near the chalazal end there were 3 antipodals, right? So this 3 antipodals, here there is development of the endosperm and here there is development of the embryo, right? Now if you see, this area is completely filled with what? You can see this area is completely filled with what? Which cells are going to be present in this area? Can you tell me? ये cells को हम क्या कहते हैं? Yes, exactly. So these are going to be the nucellar cells. Nucellus है ना? So what they are saying is when this endosperm development takes place, first it will crush the antipodal cells, right? पहले उसने एंटीपोडाल्स को क्रश करके ये मल्टीसेलुलर बना. उसके एंटीपोडाल्स के बाहर कौन बचा है? Who are there outside the antipodal? Of course, the nucellar cells. So they are going to crush the nucellar cells also. So now the endosperm formation will take place like this way entirely. Can you understand? अब ये इसको मैं पूरा ऐसे बना रही हूँ. So here there is going to be the formation of the endosperm. Now here this is the development of the embryo which will go on eating the entire endosperm. Correct? Now they are saying if at all by chance ये nucellar cells बच गए, थोड़े बहुत अगर न्यूसेलर सेल्स बच गए ना, तो अब ये सेल्स को हम कहते हैं perisperm. So now you all understood what is perisperm actually. Remnant of the nucellus is going to be called as the perisperm. And now I hope you all have understood how exactly the development is taking place also within the ovule after this diagram. Okay? This is the most important part. Many a times they have asked you these things. Okay, so that is about the leftover nucellus. Yes, it's the leftover nucellus which is going to be called as the perisperm. The endosperm may persist or completely digested during the embryogenesis. So sometimes the endosperm will be eaten away entirely and sometimes it will remain as it is. So the embryo sac gets degenerated and the endosperm comes outside. Yes, bacha. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And a scar is usually visible on one side of the outer seed coat. It is known as the hilum and marks the point of the attachment of the stalk. So the funicle is going to be attached at a point which is going to be called as the hilum, which we have already seen. With these changes, the ovule changes into the seed and enters a period of dormancy while the ovary ripens into the fruit. So the seed will enter. Hilum is also present in that is, yeah. So hilum is actually the connecting point. The point of connection, that point is called as hilum, which is present in our kidney also. Very true. Very true. Correct. Okay. So just like how the hilum is going to connect with the ureters, in the same way, here it's going to connect with the funicle. Same thing. Connector hai wo. Right. So the seed will get undergo a period of dormancy. Dormancy matlab compulsory suspension of activities. Okay, it will not perform any activity. It will go to sleep. उसका गुड नाइट हो जाता है. किसका? सीड का. हाँ, but the fruit will, the ovary will eventually ripen into the fruit. Inactivity. Yes, perfect, perfect. Got it? So this is how the seed development has initiated. Well, this is simple actually. So the seeds are of the following type: non-endospermic, X-albuminous seeds. Endospermic, albuminous seeds. These are the two main types that you have to remember. Non-endospermic. Non means no. No endosperm present. Why? Because the endosperm is eaten by the developing embryo. So a non-endospermic, yeah, X-albuminous. The protein which is present in the seed is going to be albumin. So X-albuminous. क्या मैं तुम्हें बताऊं X का मतलब क्या होता है? Is it required for me to tell you all what is the meaning of X? You all know ना? हाँ. So that is what. Once upon a time, albumin था. भाई तुम लोग गलत मत सोचो यार, please. I'm talking about the albumin, Baba. So once upon a time, there was albumin. Means there was endosperm. Once upon a time था, अभी नहीं है. So it became X. Okay, X-albuminous. Okay. So in X-albuminous seeds or non-endospermic seeds, what happens? The endosperm is completely consumed by the developing embryo and matures the seed with complete consumption. So now there is no endosperm remaining. The food is stored in the cotyledons. तो खा के मस्त मोटा तगड़ा हो जाता है. चना देखो, हाँ, छोले, हाँ, ग्रीन पीस, मस्त चुस्त है ना ये लोग, matured, मस्त चुस्त, because they eat away entire endosperm. पूरा फूड खाने के बाद क्या होगा भाई? Obviously, huh? So they become X-albuminous. The dicots, majority of the dicots are going to be showing this particular category, like type of seeds. Gram, pea, bean, mustard, mango, groundnut, all these seeds are what? Non-endospermic. Okay, there are certain exceptions like orchids, alisma, najas, pothos. You can just remember orchids. You can just remember orchids. ये जो orchids है ना बेटा, these orchids are going to be generally asked in your examinations, which are monocots, and they are showing this particular thing, X-albuminous category. So just remember orchids. No need of remembering others. That's okay. Second is endospermic or albuminous seeds. The albuminous seeds, embryo does not consume the endosperm entirely. So it persists in the mature seeds. In seeds, food stored in the form of endosperm. So the maize that we eat, corn, butta, जो steam corn मिलते हैं ना, if you go to a movie, when you enter that particular premises only, you will get to have that aroma of the popcorn and the steam corn. So those steam corns, how are they? They are juicy. They are very peppy in taste, right? नींबू डाल के, नमक मसाला डाल के, है ना, कितना मस्त. तुम लोग खाते हो कि नहीं पता नहीं है यार. तुम लोग खाते हो ये सारी चीजें? अभी नहीं, प्री कोविड. So how is it? It's so tasty, na? But it's so juicy. Why is it juicy? Why is it so sweet? Why is it so tasty? Because the endosperm was made for the embryo to eat, but the embryo is not in the capacity to eat it. So we eat that endosperm. And let me tell you all one thing, a fact which is not mentioned in your books, but it's a fact. That why is the dicot seed why is the dicot embryo consuming all the endosperm, and why the monocot embryo cannot consume the endosperm though it is made? Why? Can you tell me? Can you all tell me? ऐसे क्यों है कि डाइकॉट सीड जो है, डाइकॉट एम्ब्रियो जो है, वो पूरा जितना भी एंडोस्पर्म बनाया है ना, वो पूरा खा लेगा और मोनोकॉट नहीं खाएगा. You know why? No, not like that way. The reason is beta, dicot has got a suspensor, and suspensor will push the embryo towards the food. And if you see, the suspensor is 6 to 10 cells long. So it's really long, which will make the embryo go near the endosperm. On the other hand, in monocot seeds, the suspensor cell is only one single cell. It is not 6 to 10 cells long. So though खाना है सामने, लेकिन उधर तक वो बेचारा पहुंच ही नहीं पाता है. उसको पहुंचाने के लिए, उधर पुश करने के लिए, एंडोस्पर्म की तरफ ढकेलने के लिए सस्पेंसर एक सिंगल सेल का है. So monocots have got a single celled suspensor, while dicots have got almost 6 to 10 celled suspensor. So suspensor, जैसे तुम्हारा selfie stick होता है ना, you have seen the selfie stick, right? So if you take the mobile in your hand and you try to take your photograph, maybe 3-4 of you all will fit in that particular frame. Correct? But when you have a selfie stick, you can actually propel it long and you can take the photograph. You can have 15 people together. Same thing is happening in case of dicots and monocots. Dicots do not have, monocots do not have such a long selfie stick के जैसा suspensor, so they cannot reach up to that particular angle to consume the food. Yeah, there are, but they cannot. What to do? Okay, and that is the reason the monocots, though the food is available, they are not in the capacity to eat everything. They can only eat which is near them. Chota chota. Okay, now we understood the reason for it. Yeah, but there are certain plants like orchids, who are having a long suspensor which is causing them to consume the food completely, and therefore they come under your Exalbuminous category. Okay, got it? Cell divisions of zygote. No, it's not there in your syllabus because it's going to happen the same way. It's going to be proembryo, two-celled, then globular. Then instead of becoming heart shaped, it changes its shape to form a one small epiblast and another large cell. So that's not there in detail for you all. Okay. Yeah. But it's the same. It's the same. Till globular, it's the same. Okay. Yeah. So that is the beauty of your सस्पेंसर. तो सस्पेंसर इज इक्वल टू व्हाट? सेल्फी स्टिक. याद रख लो, तुम्हारे लैंग्वेज में एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ, देखो इजी हो जाएगा अंडरस्टैंड करना. ओके, देर आर सम सीड्स विच आर एक्चुअली डाइकॉट्स, but their embryo, their suspensor is small, so they act like monocots. So they are castor, poppy, atrobotris, custard apple, this is your jackfruit. Okay, and custard apple is your ananas. You know ananas, etc. Ananas is pineapple. Custard apple is sitafal. And monocots, which are albuminous normal, all cereals, millets, palms, lilies, all. Okay. Now the question comes as, when the endosperm is completely consumed, it is called as, the options are endospermic exalbuminous, non-endospermic albuminous, non-endospermic exalbuminous, endospermic albuminous. Oh my god, कितना confusion है ना? Don't worry बेटा, confusion हटा देती हूँ within a second. Dicots. Di means two. Okay, so wherever there are two words, non-endospermic, two words, exalbuminous, two words. So two words is equal to dicot, one word is equal to monocot. देखो, endospermic, monocot, albuminous, monocot. Majority, not always, 90% of the times. Okay, so no need of remembering all these examples as of now. In case of dicots, you can just remember gram, pea, bean. In case of monocots, you can remember orchids. Here you can remember castor and poppy, and here cereals and millets. That's it. Two examples of each. That's more than enough. Okay. Well, then let's go to the next one. In monocot seed, the membranous covering of the radicle is called as coleorhiza, while that of plumule is called as coleoptile. The micropyle remains as a small pore in the seed coat, same as that of dicot. This facilitates entry of oxygen and water into the seed during germination. As the seed matures, its water content is reduced and seeds become relatively dry. Though we call them as dry, there's never happened that it is 0% moisture. They still have got 10 to 15% of the moisture. The general metabolic activity of the embryo slows down. The embryo may enter a state of inactivity called as dormancy. Or if favorable conditions are available, adequate moisture, oxygen, suitable temperature, then the seeds will germinate to give rise to the new plant. Okay. Significance of seeds. Seeds offer several advantages to angiosperms. Seeds have better adaptive strategies for dispersal to new habitats and help the species to colonize into other areas. So seeds can be carried away by different methods, and they are able to germinate if the conditions are favorable in any particular area. Right? As they have sufficient food reserves, young seedlings are nourished until they are capable of photosynthesis on their own. Right? So they are going to have food in them. So they'll be self-providing themselves with the nutrition until the leaves appear for photosynthesis. The hard seed coat provides protection to the young embryo. Being products of sexual reproduction, they generate new genetic combinations, which leads to variation. Some seeds produce various structures like wings. We have seen wings of seeds. You have seen or no? Seeds with wings नहीं देखे? सबने देखे हैं, तुम्हें पता नहीं है बस. सब लोग खाते हैं. We all eat that also. Seeds with wings. If I tell you the example, then you will realize, oh shit, we had never thought of it. Seeds with wings that we eat na is your drumsticks. Drumsticks खाते हो ना? Drumsticks के जो seeds होते हैं, they have got that पतला सा membranous covering. Yeah. Okay. Then they have got pappus calyx. Pappus calyx means the calyx is going to be like thin threads spread out everywhere. Okay. They may have hooks or they may have sticky substances. Seeds are actively or passively transported to different places. Actively means using energy, passively means without energy. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Vaishnavi. Yes, you're right. Okay. So seeds are of great importance. There are several records of very old yet viable seeds. The oldest is that of the plant lupine, called as Lupinus arcticus, which is excavated from Arctic tundra. Arctic tundra is the place, you remember where our tundra region in geography, sure you have studied till 10th standard. The seed which was extracted from the Arctic tundra germinated and flowered after an estimated of 10,000 years of dormancy. Imagine, even after 10,000 years, the seed could germinate and produce this lupin plant. A recent record of 2,000 years old viable seed is of the date palm Phoenix dactylifera, which was discovered during the archaeological excavation of King Herod's palace near the Dead Sea. So recently, a seed has been obtained due to the excavation activities that were going on. They found a seed and it gave rise to Phoenix dactylifera. Okay, yeah, that's the same. That's the same. Yes, kids. Okay, Phoenix dactylifera is date palm, khajur. खजूर का जो पेड़ होता है ना, that is Phoenix dactylifera. Okay. In orchid fruits, each fruit contains thousands of tiny seeds. I don't know if you have seen orchid fruits or not. In your examinations, they ask you these things in fill in the blank form or say true or false, means select the correct incorrect statement. तो ये सारी चीजें है ना आपके NCERT का कंटेंट है, kindly remember them. Okay. Then we come to a very important phenomenon, that is apomixis. Apomixis, apo means without mixing. So seeds in general are products of fertilization. A few flowering plants such as some species of Asteraceae and grasses have evolved a special mechanism to produce seeds without fertilization, which is called as apomictic seeds. Yeah, the process is called as apomixis. See, just now we saw when was seed being formed? Only when the embryo development is taking place. When the embryo development is taking place after the fertilization of the male gamete with the egg. But there are certain families called as Asteraceae families and the grass family, in which the seeds are produced, but they are not a product of fertilization. Something strange, right? So there are two strange phenomena that we have to study. First is apomixis. Apomixis is a form of asexual reproduction that mimics sexual reproduction. Some of you all are good at mimicry, so you know what is a mimicry. So this apomictic form of seeds, they do the mimicry of sexual reproduction. There are several ways of development of the apomictic seeds. In some species, the first method they are saying, in some species, the diploid egg cell is formed without reduction division, means without meiosis, and develops into an embryo without fertilization. So see, this is a very हटके phenomena. क्या हो रहा है देखो, diploid egg cell कभी diploid नहीं होती है. Firstly, egg cell is always haploid according to our knowledge. But sometimes what happens now, the egg cell is formed without undergoing meiosis. That means the nucellar cell, instead of undergoing meiosis, underwent mitosis. And that product of that mitosis acts like a diploid egg. And it feels I am diploid, so I am a zygote. Okay, so then it will develop into a seed. It's a very hatke phenomena, right? More often as seen in citrus and mango. So I don't know if you have ever come across these type of lemon. नींबू आपने कभी खरीदे हैं जो दिखने के लिए बड़े दिखते हैं, लेकिन उनका कवर बहुत थिक होता है और उसमें जूस होता ही नहीं है. It is loaded with seeds only, and you try to squeeze it ना, that hair is juicy but that liquid won't come out. उसका नींबू का रस आता ही नहीं है. That is because of this apomixis. Okay, so they have got seeds, but they are of no great significance. Hybrid varieties of several of our food and vegetable crops are being extensively cultivated using this particular technique. Cultivation of hybrids has tremendously increased productivity nowadays. So nowadays we prefer apomictic seeds. You know why? Because we don't want two gametes to come together and contaminate each other. Contaminate each other means if there is one particular parent who is not having good quality, then the other parent's good quality may get suppressed. Yeah, so they don't want mixing. So to maintain the quality now, we nowadays have developed apomictic seeds. It's we develop it artificially, but this happens in nature also. This happens in nature. One of the problems of hybrid is that hybrid seeds have to be produced every year. If the seeds collected from hybrids are sown, the plant and the progeny will segregate and do not maintain hybrid characters. So during meiosis, we know the one entire set of chromosomes will go into one gamete, another will go into another gamete. So they are going to separate, they are going to segregate. So the hybrid characteristics cannot be maintained, right? Production of hybrid seeds is costly, and hence cost of hybrid seeds becomes too expensive for the farmers. If these hybrids are made into apomictic, there is no segregation because it is uniparental. Correct? एक parent का diploid cell is acting like a seed, na? So it's uniparental then. Then the farmers can keep on using the hybrid seeds to raise the new crop year after year, and he does not have to buy hybrid seeds every year. So that is the way the farmers are benefited. Okay. Because of the importance of this apomixis in hybrid seed industry, active research is going on in many labs around the world to understand the genetics of apomixis and to transfer the apomictic varieties into hybrid varieties. So apomictic genes को find out करके convert them into hybrid varieties. This research is going on and we have successfully done this. And how we have successfully done this will be taught to you in the chapter called as biotechnology. So we have to talk about biotechnology, in which this particular thing is going to be, how it is done will be explained. Okay. So this is the significance of your apomictic seeds. Then we have got something called as polyembryony. Poly means many. Embryos means, what are embryos? So many embryos developing in the same embryo sac. That is your polyembryony. Occurrence of more than 2 embryos in the seed is known as polyembryony. It was discovered by Leeuwenhoek in the citrus plants. It may be of the following types. Cleavage polyembryony, due to cleavage of zygote or proembryo into 2 or more embryos, and each split part develops into an embryo, just like how we have got homozygotic twins. During the blastomere formation, the separated 2 blastomeres will develop as 2 individual embryos and they'll give rise to twins. Here also this type of embryo development might take place. So it's due to breaking of the zygote now. So we call it as cleavage polyembryony. This type of polyembryony is more common in gymnosperms as compared to angiosperms. Okay. Second is simple polyembryony. Due to presence of more than one embryo sac, we have got more oospores or the eggs, and so we have got many embryos being developed. So normally what we have seen, one embryo sac is going to develop in one of the ovules, but sometimes what happens, the 4 megaspores which were formed, all 4 develop 4 embryo sac. If 4 embryo sacs are going to develop, obviously there will be more embryos in that one single particular ovule. So this is simple polyembryony. Mixed polyembryony, more than one pollen tube enters to the ovule and it fertilizes the synergids, it fertilizes the egg, it fertilizes the antipodal cells, सबको fertilize कर रहा है, बहुत सारे pollen tube साथ में आके. So there is a mixture. So this is mixed polyembryony. Okay. And lastly, which is most common, is adventive polyembryony. So what happens in adventive? See, diploid nucellus cell or the integument का cell forms the embryos. They are diploid now. Nucellus is also diploid and integuments are also diploid. So they feel we are diploid, so we are zygotes. And so they act like embryos. Okay, so they form many embryos. This is adventive polyembryony. So 4 types of polyembryonies we have seen. Cleavage, zygote breaks into 2 or more pieces. Each one will develop into embryo. Simple, more than 1 embryo sac develops in the ovule. So more embryos. Third, mixed, synergid also fertilized, antipodals also fertilized, egg also fertilized, so mixed. And adventive, there is no fertilization taking place. The nucellular cells only feel we are diploid, so we are embryos. Okay. Won't the synergid stop the other pollen? Yeah, in normal case it should, but sometimes they do misbehave due to hormonal imbalances. Now, even the synergids would misbehave. So in case of this misbehavior, these odd things do happen. Fine. Yeah. And to complete this chapter, the last point that is remaining is parthenocarpy. Okay. The formation of fruits without fertilization is called as parthenocarpy. Such fruits are seedless or non-viable seeds. We eat now seedless fruits nowadays. Grapes hai, seedless, banana, seedless, right? It's of 2 types, natural and induced. Induced means we will do it. Human being ki activity hai. Natural means happening in nature. When seedless fruits are produced without any special treatment from the ovaries in the absence of pollination and fertilization, the phenomenon is called as natural parthenocarpy. Example, grapes, banana, pineapple, novel oranges. These are the examples of natural parthenocarpy that is taking place in nature. Induced parthenocarpy, when seedless fruits are produced by spraying the flowers with either water extracted of the pollen grains or growth promoting hormones such as IAA, indole 3 acetic acid, NAA, naphthalene acetic acid, gibberellic acid, etc. The phenomenon is called as induced parthenocarpy. For example, tomato, blackberry, fig, lemon, apple, orange, pear, all these are made artificially. Okay, so what are these? NAA, IAA, GA, what are all these? All these are hormones. Novel oranges are those that you get na, hybrid वाले oranges जिनका छिलका बहुत टाइट होता है निकालने के लिए, it's very difficult to pull them apart. That is your novel oranges. Never seen? You get green apples without seeds. You will get them. Even you're in big basket, you get them. If you're in supermarkets, you get them. Green apples without seeds. They are seedless apples. Okay, so that's the parthenocarpy. With this, we complete the chapter of sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay, so very important chapter from our 12th standard point of view we have completed, my dears. So in the next week we'll start with a new chapter and we'll try to get to know something more, something new in our syllabus. Okay, how it happens with just spraying? Yeah, it's going to there are certain hormones which are going to be taken in via the micropylar end and the effect will be seen. Well, okay, yeah, so that's all from sexual reproduction and flowering plants, my dears. Please don't leave this chapter untouched. It's an important chapter and there are many questions which are going to be asked from this chapter even in your board exams. Okay, so in the next class a new chapter and a new beginning to understand something new. Okay, bye 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 beta, see you all, have a nice weekend, see you all, bye.